सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्ति। Yeah.
So in the last class, the choice of whether to do or to be is the crux when we are looking at desires. You were talking about how we basically
Yes.
choose between two desires. It's not a choice between I'm desiring, I'm not desiring. That is never the choice. It is a choice between two desires.
Yes.
And then he said that you said the crux of it is the choice of doing or to do or to be. I didn't understand. Is be like not desiring or
Just be. Just be like petrol. You have a choice whether to be the car or to be the petrol. In your presence, things happen. That's what he says here. Prakriti alone does. And I am not Prakriti, I am Purusha. Then what is the connection? I am not the doer. Then what I am then? I am just the enabler. Enabler witness. Enabler, immediately we think, he is instigating. So you need to club these two words together. Adana Sakshi. Sakshi means not just the literal translation that we have as witness, because witness doesn't enable the event. The occurrence of things is not because of the witness. Independent of witness, the event is happening. Whereas in this case, independent of Purusha, Prakriti cannot function. That is the fundamental difference between Sankhya's idea of Purusha Prakriti and Vedantic idea of Purusha Prakriti. In Sankhya's, Prakriti is an independent agent. Vedanta says, Prakriti is not an independent agent. So you have a choice. When Vedanta says you have a choice, Vedanta is not talking about to do this or to do that. That's animal choice. A tiger has a choice to strike the lamb or a deer. Choice no. It chooses. Exactly same thing you are also doing. Am I to buy Honda or am I to buy Mahindra? And you think you are exercising your choice. You are no different from a tiger. There is no big difference. We think, we are exercising, choice there. So human beings are at a preliminary level of thinking. Elementary, introductory level of thinking, we say, you have a choice to do this, to do that, to be or not to be. Shakespeare. Krishna is, above Shakespeare. We can't put Shakespeare and Krishna in the same level. See, Upanishadic teaching is a higher level. When they say choice, what they are referring to is you have a choice. What is the choice there? To connect yourself to be Prakriti. As a result, you have no choice to become the. That's why he says, Ya pashyati, sa pashyati. Whoever sees it. With an imperfect eye, if you see, you will see imperfection only. Correct. Imperfect eye will see everything imperfect. You will see the world as imperfect. Not only you will see the world as imperfect, you will also see God as imperfect. If I were to be the creator, I wouldn't have created the world like this. It would be much more, worse than this. If you were to be the creator. People say that, have you heard? Is this the way the world to be created? It doesn't even know how to create the world. Imperfect eye will see the world as imperfect, God as imperfect, everything imperfect, but I am perfect. அது எப்படி? Huh? Or you have to take a position, me being part of the world, I am also imperfect, which means what I am talking is also imperfect only. Which means what I am talking is perfect. What I am saying, world is imperfect, which means world is imperfect. This is called circulus in probando, argument in circles. What is that? Imperfect eye will see the world as imperfect. Not only world imperfect, God is also imperfect, everything imperfect. And me being part of the world, how I will be imperfect? Imperfect person's conclusion is imperfect, which means it is a wrong conclusion. Which means what is the world? Perfect. And me being part of the world which is perfect, the conclusions of the perfect one has to be correct. What is the conclusion? World is imperfect. Therefore, world is imperfect. This is what we call as Petal. See, prima facie, when you look at it, it look very logical. Correct, no? Superb reasoning, man. Little probing you do, you will understand the wanting of logic in that. How imperfect it is. That's why he says, nothing can be done. Imperfect eye will see the world as imperfect. A perfect eye will see the world as perfect. There's nothing to do here. Then so many things are happening, sir. Allam Prakriti. Prakriti does. I am not going to be part of it. So what I do, sir, I allow the body, mind, and intellect to act. But I am not the actor. I am not the doer. I don't carry the notion that I am doing. Body is doing. Mind is feeling. Intellect is thinking. I have nothing to do with it. That's why we say there is no such thing called a perfection. Why perfect action is an impossibility? There's no such thing called a perfect action. If people come, for the lectures, they would ask. We used to have, tapes. Those days, Swamiji's lectures, they had talks, we in tapes. So people would come and ask, which is Swamiji's best lecture? A standard answer, next time. Next lecture of his will be the best. Yeah. They say, which is, because they wanted to pick up what one tape they wanted to buy. So the vendor told Swamiji that. Swamiji Ishwar is saying like this. I was in sales team. I was in the academy. A lot of tapes. You have seen, no? Tapes. Tapes. And then we got CD. And now no tape, no CD, nothing. Ella happened. Amazing it is. There is no such thing called a perfect class. Which is a perfect class? There is no such thing. Is there a thing called a perfect husband? Correct, no? There's no such thing called perfect husband. Is there a thing called a perfect wife? No chance. Isn't it? Perfect student. There's no such thing. But then all of us strive to be. But that's how life becomes very serious for us. Why we take life so seriously? It's because we believe this possibility of perfect. There is no such thing. Or why? Because all actions are performed by Prakriti. And Prakriti, by definition, is imperfect. When the imperfect is performing actions, that has to be imperfect. How can you have perfection then? Does it mean I am imperfect? No. You are perfect. Why? Because you have got nothing to do with it. Because he has a vision. What is a vision? He says, all times, always, everywhere, it is Prakriti that performs all actions. Purusha doesn't do anything. Self is actionless. That's what I said. Take the position of a thing. Then you cannot. So, what is the vision of life? What is his vision? Every action is taken as a hobby and every experience as entertainment. Doesn't make any difference. Every experience is a movie. Everything that you see is a movie. Imagine you are watching a TV serial. That's your life. What is happening in a TV serial? Hmm? Same thing. You go to office, that will also go to office. You have office problem, you also have a problem. You have family problem, he also has family problem. Like that you have to see. Every scene, every experience is a constant entertainment. And every action is what? Fun activity. That's why I like the tagline of Tata. Tata, cheek of these people, you know. We also make steel. You see? Tagline of Tata. The bread and butter is steel. It's like ITC saying we also make cigarette. Hey, they should say what? We also make oil, cooking oil. Also like Sundrop, you know. Sundrop is ITC product. If they say we also make oil, nah, understandable. We also make cigarette now. Bread and butter is that. They say we also make steel. I'm also doing this. It's just what then? You just allow things to happen. You don't force yourself. You don't tie yourself with that. You allow the things to happen. That's the vision, he says, verse 30. He who sees all actions as performed by Prakriti alone, another important here. Prakriti alone, always, always it is Prakriti alone performs all actions. And also the self as actionless. He sees. He has a vision. He has a perfect eye. non-egoistic I. Right? Imperfect I, perfect I. This is the difference. He says, I am not this, I am that. Where you are going to identify yourself, what you are going to identify yourself as. He sees clearly there are two things. There is one aspect which is actionless, there is another aspect which is full of action. Now, he sees that very clearly. Next question we obviously ask is, what are you going to associate with? If you associate with Prakriti, what are you? Understand? I'll always perform actions, and all my actions, all my experiences will be imperfect by nature. You can never have a thing called a perfect. There's no such thing. Also, he understands if at all there is an idea of perfection, that idea of perfection doesn't belong to the category of Prakriti, that belongs to the category of Purusha. Do not transfer the property of the Purusha on Prakriti. Similarly, do not transfer the property of the Prakriti on Purusha. Given to Caesar what belongs to Caesar, given to the Lord what belongs to the Lord. It's as simple as that. These people went to Christ and asked him, should we pay tax or not? To whom should we? Because the tax collectors came. So all these, vendors, they ran towards Christ. You said you are the Lord. So should we pay tax to Caesar or should we pay, tax to you? He said, take the coins. Whose image you see there? Whose image is printed there? Caesar. He said, given to Caesar what belongs to Caesar, given to Lord what belongs to Lord. That's perception. Yeah, pashyati sa pashyati. 31.
यदा भूतपृथग्भावम् एकस्थमनुपश्यति तत एव च विस्तारम् ब्रह्म सम्पद्यते तदा यदा भूतपृथग्भावम् एकस्थमनुपश्यति तत एव च विस्तारम् ब्रह्म सम्पद्यते तदा.
Again, this is a very popular construction you will see throughout the Gita. This yada tada, yaha saha. Yada means when, tada means then. When this happens, then this is. When this is the case, then this is the effect. Which means whatever is declared here is a universal philosophy. Remember, every Shastra, when we say, it has two dimensions to it. One aspect is the Sanatana part of it. Every Shastra is a combination of two things. One is Sanatana, another is called the Sampradaya. You see, Sanatana is universal. That will not change. But Sampradaya keeps changing. So there is a changing dimension to it. Also, there is a changeless dimension to it. The principles are changeless. The laws that is expounded were all changeless. That is Sanatana. We will have a lot of discussions in the neighboring state. Sanatana, Sanatana. What is Sanatana? What is Sanatana? They're discussing Ramayana Mahabharata. I said, hey, Ramayana Mahabharata is not Sanatana. Uh, What did Rama do? Sanatana Dharma. What did Rama do is not Sanatana Dharma. See? Then what you should do? Rama was carrying bow and arrow. Are we going to carry bow and arrow today? Huh? Are you going to do that today? We are discussing about nuclear bomb. Hmm? You press a button somewhere sitting, somewhere it goes, somewhere it starts, somewhere it lands. The fellow who is sitting has no connection. It's not that where he is pressing the button is where the bomb is. It's not the case. Bomb is fixed somewhere. He's pressing the button somewhere. And the bomb goes and lands somewhere else. It's, it's totally different. Now today you cannot be carrying a bow and arrow. He was carrying bow and arrow. Oh, Rama's bow and arrow, is what we were discussing today as missiles. Allah, we don't know. How he was walking, how he was sitting, what he was eating. Rama never had pizza, burger. Why? Why he never had pizza, burger? Because it was not available at that time. Why he has not used mobile phones? He has never used mobile phone. Therefore, you also should not use mobile phone. Imagine mobile phone were to be there. Rama had one, Sita had one. As soon as this fellow, even that tower should be there. It's another problem. Forest, a tower. BSNL will work. City it will not work. In the forest line, you go, BSNL works very good. Fascinating. Imagine if you had to be there, what you would have done? Hey, that's not me, well. Yes, that's all it is. Problem solved. Or he would have, running along with, live. Zoom call. Making a Zoom call and keep running. He would know what is the issue there. What they do, how they lived, what they ate. That's called a sampradaya. That keeps changing from time to time. That's variable. Don't go based on their action. Do not take their actions as the reference point. Rama implicitly followed his father's instructions. Why? Why? Therefore, all fathers will say what? You also should be like Rama. They don't turn back and ask, are you like Dasratha? If you are like Dasratha, then they'll be like Rama. Are you that Dasratha? Kaigi asks for boon, no? He pleads her, please, you want to make Bharata king, I will make him a king. That also I will grant. But the second one, don't ask. He's not even saying what the second boon is. He only says, the second one, I will, please take it back. All that he has to say is what? He goes to the extent of even falling at her feet, Today you don't know, you don't understand what's the meaning of that. A king in his time who lived as a king for 60,000 years As a king, he has lived. Dasharatha means he has a free entry. His car has a universal free entry in all 10 directions, 8 quarters, up and down. All 10 directions, his Ratha had a free entry. No one would stop his car anywhere. No, no parking charge. There is no problem for him, no parking, sir, you can't park here. No, he can park anywhere. He can get an entry into anywhere. What power that is. You know? Like anytime, he doesn't have to book a ticket. He doesn't have to get a visa. He doesn't have to apply for a visa. Nothing is required. He can just get into any flight, land in any country, he can get in. What a power that fellow must be having. Such a powerful fellow falls at the feet of a lady, pleading her. Hmm? How long it would have taken for that Dasratha to say, I don't remember to have given you any boon. When? Do you have any proof? Have I signed any documents? Is there anyone who's a witness to it? Put her in jail. All that he has to do is what? Call 2 fellows and put her in jail, now problem solved. If that is what he wants. He says, I rather die. I rather give up my pride, but I will not take back my words. What a stand that is. You know, what a grand stand that is. You think Dasharatha is a weak fellow. He's not a weak personality. Many think, that Dasharatha to be very weak. He is so weak. He's not weak. He's a solidly standing on dharma. Such a man's word ought to be honored. Correct. Now you look Rama, he look very normal. What is great about it? What is so great about Rama following the instructions of his father? Such a grand personality were to be there. Rama look correct, no? As a son, Indrajit is far superior to Rama. You know that? Rama followed that father because Dasharatha was dharmic. Indrajit followed his father knowing fully well what Ravana doing is wrong. He tells him, drop this lust for this lady. The lust of the father, he is willing to give up his life. In my eyes, he looks slightly superior to even Rama. Which son will do that? Huh? Laying down his life for the lust of his father. It's better than even Bhishma. Superior to even Bhishma, that fellow is. I don't know whether Lavakusha would have done that. Rama's sons. Rama had everything on par with Ravana, but he can never take pride. If Rama says, I have brothers, Ravana also will say, I have brothers. If Rama says, my wife is a pativrata, he says, my wife is also pativrata. We are very rich. Ayodhya is a rich. Ravana says, please look at my palace. My one palace is equal to your entire country. Get out. Valor, beauty, knowledge. Anything you say, it stands on par. One dimension when Ravana puts on the table, Rama has nothing. Look at my son, man. all his sons, the Akshay Kumar or the whoever, all those fellows, they're giving their life for the lust of the father. Remember, Shastra will give eternal principles. Along with that, it will give certain sampradaya also, certain practices. The practices keeps changing, but principles will not change. Now, what we study in the Bhagavad Gita is a principle. See, that will not change. That's why we see this. Wherever he gives the sampradaya, immediately you find Krishna using the word, in my opinion. You see, my opinion. This is my personal. He will immediately bring in his personal idea. It's according to me, this is it. But wherever he is talking about the universal principles, he will say, it was told. They say that. Prajahati yada kaman sarvan partha manogadan atmanyev atmana tushthara sthita prajna tata uchyate. Thus said. Tata uchyate. Thus said. By whom? Oh, by who? Not me. It's not my definition of who is a Sthita Prajna. I'm not giving the definition. They give the definition. Who is that they? Wherever he gives my personal opinion. In my opinion, this is what it is. In my opinion, this is what it is. Now is yada and tada. Yes, there are two aspects here. When this is the condition, then this is the consequence. When he perceives the diversified existence of beings as rooted in one and spreading forth from that alone, it is rooted in that and spreading forth from that alone, then he becomes Brahman. How he reaches the state of realization. How do you realize? How that realization? Very important verse. Giving this, idea. Now, what you have to do? Distance yourself from the operations of body, mind, and intellect. Operations of Prakriti. Operations of the equipments. When he perceives the diversified existence of beings as rooted in one and spreading forth from that alone. From that alone, it is spreading, vistara. It is spreading everywhere. What is that? You are right now, we are seeing the pluralistic world. Right? You're seeing all different things. All this pluralistic world comes from one homogeneous principle. Impossible to understand. Pluralistic world is emerging out of one principle, one homogeneous concept. The one who is able to understand that. How do you understand that? Is there a logic for it? There's no logic. Logically, you can never understand. Logic won't work here. From that one, all this is. How that one can become all this? How? That's why Vedanta immediately gives this example of dream. The dream that you are experiencing, or the dream that you had experienced, is what? One mind is projecting the dream. So, for the entire dream world and the dreamer, because one thing all of us can be very sure about, clear about, is the dreamer did not create the dream. Remember, dreamer did not create the dream world, the dream experiences. Who is experiencing the dream? Very interesting good question they ask. The dream world, the entire dream phenomena is experienced by whom? Are you experiencing dream? No. You're awake or no? As a waker, can you experience it? The moment you know that you are a waker, what happens to the dream? It's gone. When that experience is going on, actually dreamer also has experience of the dream. Correct? The dreamer is experiencing the dream. The dreamer is chased by the tiger in the dream. The dream tiger in the dream forest chasing the dreamer, and the dreamer is frantically running in the woods. Right? So the dreamer is experiencing the fear, the tension, the heartbeat, panting for breath. All this is experienced by the dreamer also. But who is actually experiencing the dream? Is the dreamer. If it is only dreamer's experience, then how is it possible to wake up and say, I had a dream? How you are owning that experience? You should not own it, no. Like if you dream, do I own it? I'm not owning it. Your experience is your experience, correct? How can I own your experience? The dreamer personality is totally different. Waker personality is totally different. So, one personality's experience is owned by the other. Now we ask the question, who is the actual experience of the dream? Who is the experiencer of the dream now? From where the dream comes. Don't say waker. This is where people make a mistake. They say, as a waker, you can never experience the dream. The dreamer also did not create the dream. Then what created the dream?
Can the creator and the experiencer be different?
Then how do you own it? That's a usual thing, correct? Somebody created the car, you are experiencing the car. You are the owner of the car.
So the dreamer experiences the dream but hasn't created the dream.
He has not created the dream. That dreamer knows. But then he thinks that he is experiencing that chasing of the tiger. But there is another fellow standing and saying the whole thing is mine. The dreamer doesn't know. Will the dreamer agree? Somebody else owning his experience? Will the dreamer agree to it? Petal. How can someone else experience? If that fellow is the one who has created all this, he is the one who is experiencing all this, are you mad? Why you are the dreamer who is running so scared with that tiger. Which tiger? Dream tiger. Good. You're not dreaming. Dream tiger. Who created? Waker only. He said, why do you create like that, man? Unnecessarily you create, no? Why are you creating like that? That's what we saw earlier. Imperfect world will say, God who created the world is imperfect. How nonsense this is. He should have created the world in such a way that there is nobody is bad. Everybody is good only. Everything is right only. Everybody is perfect. World is good, no. Problem solved. Why unnecessarily create a world where there is so much of varieties? Variety means what? Grades. Which means what? From one level it is good, another level the same thing will look bad. One day Maruti 800 was looking extraordinary car for you, no? Today? Huh? Today you say what? It's a very small car, sir. There was a time once you said, all that I have to just get a job here. That's all it is. Today, there's no job satisfaction, sir. So I'm resigning job. Right? Same thing. One day it was looking like your life mission accomplished. Today, what is that? Why so much of confusion, man? If it is good, keep it as good. If it is relevant, keep it as relevant. Rest to everybody, no? No. Why so much? Exactly the same thing the dreamer will ask. If it is the waker who is experiencing, that waker must be a dumb cat. Why? Why create the dreamer? Why create a tiger? Okay, you have created the dreamer, you have created the tiger. Why are you making the tiger chase the dreamer? Okay, it's only the dreamer who is going to be getting the panic. Fine. You look at that waker, you wake up, how do you wake up? With palpitation, no? Sweating. Which means you are getting affected. If you are going to be affected, then why do you create it like that? Which means he must be some mad fellow, or there is something which we are missing a link, because these things will never go together. That's clue. The clue is what? It is not the waker who is creating the dream, nor the dreamer who is creating the dream. Then what is creating the dream? The waker forgetting he is a waker. When the waker forgets he is a waker, he creates a dream. So what is creating the dream? Not the waker. Don't say waker's mind. The forgetfulness of the waker, that he is the waker, creates a dream. So the forgetfulness is what? Is the ignorance, which is what is referred to as ignorance of the waker creates the dream. Right? And out of that ignorance comes all the varieties. But can that ignorance stand independent of the waker? That is not possible. That forgetfulness needs an adhishthanam, a foundation. The foundation is the waker. That's a famous dream of Janaka. Janaka, am I the king who dreamt as a beggar, or am I the beggar who is dreaming as a king? All the ministers he summoned emergency meeting. Everybody came. panic, they thought some war has come. You should imagine, at least this is how I visualize. Imagine, the king suddenly midnight he is calling. What is the thought you will get? Emergency, no? Hmm? Suddenly 8 o'clock, Prime Minister is addressing the nation. Now what? You know, fear only comes, no? Right? First thing you get is what? Fear. Same way, imagine he is calling the ministers midnight. All the fellows have come, summoned. Everybody assembled. And he is asking this question to the assembly. Tell me, am I Janaka who dreamt as a beggar? Or am I that beggar dreaming myself to be the king? And imagine you are there. And if I were to be there, first thing, I would have seen is what? All the ministers would have looked at each other. Correct? Sir, if you are a beggar, we are all ministers. We have no doubt about it. Correct? You summoned, all of us assembled. If a beggar summons, will all the ministers assemble? Is it possible? Not possible. Only when a king calls, all the ministers will assemble. The fact that all of us are assembled is a proof of what? You are a king, no? Superb argument they gave. Janaka, you can't fool Janaka. He is very sharp. That nonsense. Then explain to me why I dreamt as a beggar. I should have dreamt as a king only, no? If I am king, then why the king is dreaming as a beggar? Sigmund Freud was not there. If Sigmund Freud would have been, he would have given a different explanation. If Hunter were to be there, he would have given a different explanation. Childhood suppression, sir. Childhood, you wanted to beg. You're playing the beggar game, and your father told you, you should not be a beggar. Now, that childhood suppression is what is coming out as this. There's nothing doing. Find out the answer and come back. Ashtavakra came. And when Ashtavakra walked in, people started laughing. We don't know his name. Nobody knows his name. There's no name for him, for that Rishi. There's no name. Ashtavakra means bent. Ashtana, 8. The body which has 8 bends. Imagine someone walks with 8 bends in the body. How he would be walking? Like that he would be walking. Obviously, it would look funny, no? They all laughed. Which Ashtavakra said, I thought you were having ministers in your assembly. I never thought you were having cobblers in your ministry. In your assembly. In an assembly of cobblers, I won't talk. I can't talk to the cobblers. What? They're all ministers, all great scholars. They're cobblers. Why? Only cobbler will look at the skin. See? Only he will look at the skin and decide. These fellows are looking at my skin. They're not able to look at my wisdom. How can I talk to these fellows? Obviously, you are a king of cobblers. How you will also be? You're keeping them in your assembly. Now, what is your buddhi level? What you will be, he says. Fascinating. King Janaka, various aspects of the dream comes from where? Don't say Vega's mind. It's the forgetfulness of the Vega. The plurality that you are experiencing is stemming from that homogeneous one mind. But how do you account that plurality, sir? The accounting is done by this forgetfulness. That's why we say world is dvandvas, pairs of opposites. Dvandvas, duality. Two, all comes in pair. What is the pair? Mine, not mine. Only one pair. There is only one pair in the world. That is these are mine. This, not mine. The way I react to mine is different from the way I react to not mine category. If it is my car met with an accident, one reaction. If not my car meets with an accident, another reaction. My business success, one reaction. Not my business success, another reaction. So business is there, but category is what? Only one, opposite. What is opposite? Mine, not mine. Mine, not mine. Mine, not mine. So constantly we keep this dvandvas. And you get attached to whatever is mine and constantly desire for what is not mine. How do you react? How do you interact with the mind category and not mind category? With the mind category, you get attached. With the non-mind category, convert it into mind. Desire to acquire. Not mind should become mind, and mind should continue to be mind. World. Yajnavalkya beautifully he says, Maitreyi, wherever there are two, there will be fear. The moment you say there are two, you cannot escape fear. Fear in the sense you can't escape everything associated with it. Duality means what, sir? Bhaya, Krodha, Lobha, Madha, Matsarya, Dvesha, hatred, bitterness. You cannot escape from bitterness. You cannot escape this arrogance. What is arrogance? Arrogance is not only immediately I am the great. Not in that sense. This mother you need to understand. How you understand? Very simple. Test of mother. What? If you go and ask someone for help, what is the language? What is your body language? What is the tone? When someone approaches you for help, how do you talk? What is the tone? What is your body language? Mullah Nazruddin and myself, we were going out for Yajna collection. He was helping me once. We were going. Yajna coming, I need to collect money. So for that, we used to go and approach the fellows. So we went to one fellow's office. And the fellow said, look here. He gave him the appeal. This is the cost of it, this is what's happening, all this, so this much money is needed. He took that appeal and kept it aside. He said, okay, I will ask you fellows one question. If you give the right answer, not this year, next 5 years, Yajna I will sponsor. Full cost. If you give wrong answer, go back. Any tough questions, I'll pass on to that fellow. He'll say, hey, you answer. Easy questions I will deal with. It is a complicated question. We don't know what he is going to ask. I'll ask only one question. He said, what is it? He said, ask. Between my two eyes, one eye speaks the truth, other eye speaks lie. Tell me which one is true, which one is false. Which is a false eye? He said, your left eye. Before the fellow could even complete the answer, this guy replied, left eye. The fellow was really surprised. How do you know? Agreement is one question. If I have to give the second question answer, now another 5 years. He said, full 18 chapters of the Gita, you wanted to have full cycle, I will sponsor, but tell me, how do you know that? How do you find out? That your left eye showed more compassion than the right eye. Therefore, I know it must be false. You're all following? It's a false eye. Why? Because left eye is a false eye. Why? Compassion. When I am coming to seek assistance from you, if you show compassion towards me, what is it? It's a false one. It's impossible. You can never show compassion. You are not capable. That's mother, arrogance. That's what we know. Again, cases. Bhaya, fear, krodha, anger, lobha, greed, adha, arrogance, matsarya, jealousy, envy, dvesha, bitterness. All this is a consequence of what? Consequence of dvandva. The moment you create this pair, mine, not mine, you have no choice to escape from this passion. So, what is the solution? Krishna gives a beautiful solution. He says, when you have developed that perception, now don't ask me how did he develop the perception? Krishna has already given the 5 steps. Right? Verse 25, 26. He has already given the steps. How do you develop that perception? Now he is giving the consequence of the development of the perception. The growth is the once you have that, then he perceives the pluralistic existence as expression of that one. The sun above is one. The reflections are many. Infinite reflections. You see, infinite suns, reflection. Reflected suns are many. But the sun above is only one. Same way, the mind is one. The dreams are many. Same mind creates many dreams. It says, being rooted in one and spreading forth from that alone, expands itself from that alone. 32.
परमात्मायमव्ययः शरीरस्थोऽपि कौन्तेय न करोति न लिप्यते अनात्वान् निर्गुणत्वात् परमात्मायमव्ययः शरीरस्थोऽपि कौन्तेय न करोति न लिप्यते.
Being without beginning or gunas, qualities. This Supreme Self, imperishable, though dwelling in the body, O Kaunteya, neither acts nor is tainted. Now he is giving the description. What is that one? What is that one he is explaining here? Verse 32. That one is Anaditvat, a being without a beginning. There's no beginning, Anadi. Adi, beginning. Anadi, no beginning. Not all. No beginning. Meaning, there is no cause for that. That's the meaning of Anadi. That which has a cause has a beginning. Anything which has a cause has a beginning. Beginningless means causeless. There's no cause that has caused this. What has caused Brahman? With reference to the dream, what has caused the waker, you cannot ask. You can ask what has caused the dream. Then you can give an answer. The forgetfulness of the waker, ignorance of the waker is the cause of the dream. Now, what has caused the waker? A dreamer can never ask that. A waker is causeless, anadi, as far as the dream is concerned. Means it is beyond time. Anadi means beyond time. Beginning means time. See, it's anadi, there is no beginning. It's beyond time. Time in the sense not to be treated as a chronological time. Remember, time is discussed in 3 layers. Right? Time has a 3-layered discussion. Very fundamental way of understanding time is chronological. Sunday, 29th December 2024, 8:37 a.m. Before I could say it has already moved to 38. Right? This is chronological time. Then there is a thing called psychological time. Chronological time is different. Psychological time is different. Chronological time is social, collective. Okay. We have agreed upon. We have decided, human beings have decided together and started saying this is 000, first year. Something we fixed as a first year. From first only we have come to 2024. Correct? Suppose all of us get wiped out. Another group of people come in. They will start from, they will not start from 2025. Okay. They will start that as what? 1, 0. This is how they will start. So what had happened to 2000? They will not have 2K problem. It's not there, no. It's called psychological time. Sorry, chronological time. Psychological time is subjective. Chronological time is collective. Psychological time is subjective. Like, chronologically, the class is 1 hour. Over. 60 minutes. Correct. But some of you may experience this as, my God, only 1 hour. Another 15 minutes is there. 1. Another person says, my God, already 1 hour over. Yeah. We always feel that, no? Max period in school never ends. PT period, never enough. Sir, another 5 minutes, sir. Max teacher, na, if they come 2 minutes late to the class, na, it is such a joy. Max teacher. PT period, 45 minutes. No difference. Chronologically. But psychologically, depends on how you experience. Philosophy, religion starts from psychological time. Right? That's where the confusion is. You say, the gospel says you'll be put in eternal hell. You know that? If you do something, if you don't believe in Christ, you'll be put in eternal hell. Bertrand Russell writes a book, Why I Am Not a Christian. Very good book. He gives 32 arguments in that. Beautiful arguments. One of the arguments he gives is this. Why am I not Christian? Because they talk about eternal hell. What is eternal hell? See, his argument is very simple, beautiful argument of his. Remember, justice means what? Punishment should commensurate crime, isn't it? For a pickpocket, you cannot put him in death sentence. You can't give a death sentence to a pickpocket. That's not fair, you see. Give punishment, correct. Put him in jail for 15 days and then, release him. That's all it is. You can't give him, death penalty for pickpocket. It's not justice. Now he says, what crime a human can commit, deserving eternal hell? Imagine, eternity, there's no end at all. Eternally you will be in hell. What crime you could have committed for such a punishment? Suppose if you argue, no, God will always pardon you. Then why that hell is there? Close no. Imagine, he says, no, once you go and ask for pardon, he'll pardon you and release you from hell. At least in our system, it's not eternal hell. You go to hell for a period of time and then come back. So your hell is not eternal. There, he says, eternal. No choice for you after that. Nothing can be done. What sort of a God that is? Unfortunately, he has not studied Vedanta. No problem. If he studied Vedanta, this problem would have been solved. What is eternal hell? What is hell? Any painful experience is called hell. Why? Because whenever you have a painful experience, the time stretches. When you are having a pleasant experience, time shrinks. Correct. Psychological time shrinks. When they say you'll be put in eternal hell, what is the meaning of that? The time will stretch to you to such an extent where you will never see the end of it. It will appear to you it is going to be never ending. You see, which means the experience that you are going through will be so excruciatingly painful. That's what it means. Don't take it as chronological time of eternity. The chronological time of eternity is different. Religion doesn't talk about chronological time of eternity. Religion talks about psychological time. Philosophy talks the third dimension, existential time. He says, without beginning, anadi. There is no beginning. It's there. That's all. It's there. That's why for Yama, we give a name. One of the name for Yama is Kala, means time. Right. Time is the foundation on which everything happens, allows everything to happen in time. So time is the adhisthana. It's just there. You can never give an answer what time the time began. There is no time. You can never give the beginning of time because time is there all the time. Therefore, what do you call that as? Anadi. It is there. From where the property has come, that property belongs to Purusha. Don't put it on Prakriti. Doesn't catch. Forgetfulness, we said, no, ignorance of the waker. What is ignorance? Ignorance is what belongs to this, you transfer there. That's where the confusion is. So he says, give into this. Nirgunatva. There's no good, no qualities. There's no quality. You cannot say good God, bad God, ugly God. There's no good, bad, ugly, nothing. There's no qualities here. Nirguna. No quality. Because quality means substance. Only a substance can have a quality. Anything which is non-substance. I don't know whether there is a word called non-substance. Insubstantial there is. Insubstantial is negative. It is transcending. Non-substance. It's not a substance. Since it is not a substance, it cannot have any qualities, properties, attributes. It doesn't have all this. That Paramatma is imperishable, avyayam. It never perishes. Imperishable means no death, means no birth, means no birth, death, birth, death, birth, death. Means there's no change. Avyayam, imperishable, means changeless. It is changeless. Na karoti. It is not a performer of any action. It doesn't act. It doesn't do anything. Petrol is not responsible for any action. Same way. Na karoti. Na lipyate. Not tainted. It is not tainted also. It is not affected by the fruits of action. Nothing taints. All our actions is what? Affects. The fruit affects. The consequence of action impacts. Is neither the doer nor the enjoyer. No kartrutva, no bhoktritva. Adha. Na karoti, na lipyate. Means he doesn't carry the notion that I am the doer, I am the enjoyer. Nothing. But actions will go on. I wonder, how do you explain that? Explanation is very simple. The judgments given by the judge doesn't taint the judge. You know that, no? The judgments were given. You can comment the judgment, but you cannot comment the judge. That's not allowed. They will file a case on you if you do that. Judgments you can comment. If judgments cannot be commented, then how will you go for appeal? High Court gives one, you take it to the Supreme Court. Means what? You are not in agreement with the judgments. We don't care whether the judgments can be anything. You can comment on that, you can criticize it, you can appreciate it, you can praise the judgment. But that doesn't transfer to the judge. The actions have no effect on the personality. That means na lipyate means not tainted, means the action performed by this person doesn't create an imprint on the person. It doesn't affect the person. All these properties he has, he says. The one who is liberated, the one who has that eye of wisdom, liberates himself, he becomes Brahman. That's what he said in the last verse. Now you have to connect it there. He becomes that being without beginning, without gunas, also imperishable, and though dwelling in the body, that supreme personality is dwelling in the body. He is still alive, he is still acting, but still he is not the doer, he is not the enjoyer. He doesn't carry the notion that I am the doer, I am the enjoyer. I don't do anything. I am not the enjoyer. 32. It's in next class.